skill players, Cinderin.
Yeah, AOI loves to take a jab at his teammates a little bit once in a while, but you know, if anything, it has been indicative of this tournament, it's that you know the games just go late in general, and there are certain teams that thrive in that environment. I don't think it's any surprise that a team such as Falcons, Tidebound, as well as of course Extreme Gaming have been looking hot as well. A lot of exchanging here. Amar.
In a lot of trouble. That's first blood already for Shiro and the Tidebound side. Great start for them.
Probably wasn't expecting the starting tri-lane here with the Muerta beginning in the top lane, and it pays off for starters. One of the benefits to offlane Timbersaw, of course, he is a lot more independent than many offlaners are. You give him a couple of levels, you can move around the map, and even on level 1 against a lane like Gyro Pugna, you don't have too much to be scared of, so yeah, that was a very successful start for them. And a hero that you and I, we've seen completely take over games is the Marcy. There are just situations where you feel like this is unbelievably broken. And other games, it kind of looks meh. So if I could choose any hero for either team to get a good start in this game, that's the most impactful, and it would probably be that.
Yeah, I think she's the main reason that we are seeing Helm of the Dominator brought back as a mainstay at this tournament. Obviously can rebound off of it. Terrific at gaining a lot of farm, which Marcy can sometimes have trouble with before that first farming item comes to be. But as we look at the mid lane, Malrine is playing the Beastmaster versus Nothing to Say's Earthshaker. Good old melee versus melee matchup.
Yeah, it's one of those that you on paper would feel should just be a good lane for Shaker, but as of modern Dota, if you will, Beastmaster actually fares quite well here. I want to say it's a skill-based matchup, or if both players play their best, I would say it's kind of close, but I've seen Beastmaster win that lane, I've seen Shaker win it. So not a clear-cut one, unlike many of the other very one-sided mid lanes we've seen have been like Queen of Pain or Shadow Fiends against melee heroes. This one, I don't know, it's probably like a 55-45, pretty close.
Yeah, well, I'll hold you to that. You've been wrong on pretty much everything at this tournament so far.
Yeah, we did predictions together. We got 1 out of 16. Did anyone in the crowd do worse than that? Yep.
No, apparently
that's right.
not.
We win. Woohoo!
Damn, we're good. That's why we get paid the big bucks here.
Ironically, the one team we got right is in this series. That is true. Falcons.
That is true.
That we picked to make it out of elimination round. Everything else was wrong.
At the very least, the games have been ultra entertaining, so you can't really complain too much. I mean, even the Helm of the Dominator, people are talking about this item being picked up literally every game on multiple heroes. I think it's an exciting item, actually. Feels like it ramps up a lot of people's farm. It does make high ground a little bit harder because both teams are more farmed, and high grounding is a little bit easier as a result, but I think it's been some excellent quality games overall.
A lot of the time what Dominator does as well is it just forces the teams to take out the trash a lot, right? Like you always have to go and defend your waves because there's some pesky creep keeping you at bay, and naturally that will a lot of the time lead to stalled out games, which is a little bit ironic because if you think of Dominator historically, you think of a pushing item, right?
Yeah.
That's an item that you buy to 5-man, but a lot of the time in this tournament it's been used as a farming amplifier and just a split push tool. This game, not too many of those heroes though, right? Marcy will obviously get one. She's the #1 buyer of this item as far as how good it is, in my opinion. Mid Beastmaster has been a mixed bag. I don't think Malrine will buy it. According to AUI, he's incapable. So.
Yeah, we'll see. So far, Malrine sitting on 15-7 in that mid lane versus the 20-7 of Nothing to Say, so slight advantage for Tidebound so far. Now, in terms of, I mean, not to continue this conversation about Helm of the Dominator, but you talked about it time and time again this tournament, you need a hero that can kill those creeps. Yeah. Do you think Falcons have addressed that enough?
They're not the best, to be honest. I think Gyro is pretty good, but aside from that, their heroes do need to commit some time and effort to do it. So that definitely is a bit of an X factor. But Marcy will most of the time not use the Helm of the Dominator for split pushing, but rather play with it as a constant partner for rebound. So it's a little bit of a different nature with that particular hero running it, so I don't know how big of a concern that is. Did want to say, if you notice, a Bach or Faith Beyond is running a 1-1-2 build, which I would say is less common nowadays. He started 0-1-2. It goes to show that the mindset in this bottom lane for him is not to play aggressive, it's just he's meant to farm, and the more he frees up Muerta, the better. And the payoff in that is that Muerta has made a ton of stacks already. So Planet's been going to work here. On the flip side, Falcons with none.
Yep,
So
as
Amar will
Y is
find a
taken
pick.
out in the top. Amar going to take a little bit of damage in reciprocation, but he will get the better of the exchange, of course. I mean, that gyro versus the Timbersaw, that's an old school matchup where typically don't have carries that can deal with a Timbersaw, but gyro not too shabby.
Yeah, the classic ones. Gyro, Luna, of course, comes to mind. Just having ranged heroes that have magic damage, so you can pierce through the reactive armor. This ability has been rebalanced over the years, but there's still a subset of carries that just don't stand a chance.
Yeah.
The upside here for Faith Beyond is that by nature of laning 1v2 for the most part, he should get a fast 6. And at that point, perhaps you can threaten the gyro a little bit in the lane.
Now, well, the 6-minute power rune is upon us, and you can see that Falcons are quite pushed up, but Crit's actually spotted out and now glimpsed into the arms of Nothing to Say. He's not going to hit the enchant totem, the dead shot either, but still the kill will come for Nothing to Say. So Tidebound up 2-1. They're able to defend this tower.
Oh, this is important, Malrine.
Oh boy. Yeah, this is big.
I
This is
believe
an
this was
Earthshaker
a
stack.
quad stack that Planet committed so much time and effort to making, and now all of it going to be stolen away in front of his eyes. So that was I was pointing this out. This is one of the big benefits of Timbersaw is that your 4 can do this, but then if the enemy team takes it, you're effectively stacking.
Well, who's
for nothing.
sadder? Is it Timbersaw or Earthshaker? Because we saw earlier today with BZM, got his stacks mostly stolen. His game just never recovered.
I think in this game you should have given them to Shaker to accelerate the high-impact team fight maker that you have.
Level 6, Invis Rune, and Planet will be the recipient of the first roar of the game. And that's an easy kill for Falcons, as they're actually on the doorstep here of a Wisdom Shrine take as well.
This is a
will be a very big get.
play. Just perfect timing.
They get both.
A great play call at the right time. That is the biggest win of this game so far for the Falcons side. Getting both Wisdoms means that Morta and Disruptor are currently sitting on level 3, and Disruptor, Static Storm is pretty good this game. You're going to have to wait a long time for that. I think Pierce the Veil less important comparatively, but
I think if the game goes 60 minutes, doesn't really have to worry about that too much. As Shiro jumps right on top of Amar, back into the calling, so silenced up, trying to get to the north, to be able to cast anything. Finally, the arena comes out, but actually gets to crap fight at the last moment. Do they have damage to finish him up? He's actually trying to this, and as Shiro now the one in trouble, as Skeeter and Crit have come to help out. No kills will come from this. Let's hear a cheer just in general. All right, well, that was underwhelming, I'll be honest.
it also didn't deserve more than that.
Staking under the tower, getting pursued by Faith Beyond. Looks like he'll eventually pick him up. Does take a beating in response, though, as after all of that, Skeeter actually gets picked off on the top lane.
Yeah, and I was going to point out, this whole top fight extending as long as it did was because of a rare missed dead shot from Planet. But in the follow-up fight, they do get an even bigger kill in the gyro.
Yep, Crit help Malrine get the rune, but they are outnumbered. That's 4 versus 2. Using that haste rune to full effect to get to the north side. Has to be a little bit careful, though. Getting some bottles up, as Nothing to Say is going to continue the pursuit, but all for naught. We'll have to let the Beastmaster go, but still, great exchanges overall for Tidebound.
Yeah, Shiro starting to create some separation here. 3-0. He is up by about 600 gold over the opposing gyro. And now, with all of these moves being unsuccessful for Falcons, Faith Beyond is actually taking second here on the Timber.
Yep.
Considering the laning start that he had playing the 1v2 for the most part, this is a very good look for him. And Nothing to Say is, of course, going to be losing in that equation as the mid-shaker. They can't all have a good game at the same time, but they're stacks. So,
Yep, finding stacks on the other side of the map this time. As Falcon's very aware of the triangle at this stage, and Crit's aware of this as well, so he's going to leech a little bit of XP as a result. I mean, at this early state, Tidebound obviously was just a 1K lead at the moment, but whose shoes would you rather be in right now?
I think overall the game plan of Tidebound is unfolding a little bit better, specifically because of the gyro move top failing and leading to a death for Skitter. But there's no real cause for concern for either side. I think all the cores are at least somewhat enabled. Shaker is a bit behind, but will find his way back into this more than likely. Falcons only having 2 kills minute 10 is maybe a little bit surprising, though, but they have taken mid-tower, which is a big objective, and surely top is on the menu sometime soon. Beastmaster loves to make this rotation, whether he has a Dominator or not.
Yep, Shiro found by Crit. He's going to be able to take a Satyr for himself. Amar looking for an opening, but not going to follow through, it seems. First item will be the Blink Dagger, no big surprise. And looking at Shiro's farm right now, he of course has the Helm. I mean, do we see any variation on the Marcy builds these days?
I think every carry Marcy I've seen this tournament went Dom. But then after that, there is a little bit of variation. Sometimes you rush BKB. We've seen some people get one intermediary item. And after the BKB, I think there's a decent amount of room for creativity. Basher is classic, but you can see something like an Orchid in games where that is good. You can... Yeah, okay, that's not a lot of variety, is it? Daedalus sometimes, I guess, but it's not always the same.
Okay, well, Nothing to Say has a bit of a stack. Not the biggest we've seen, but this will be a nice, juicy Echo Slam for him. Didn't feel as good as I thought it would, if I'm being honest, but he'll get some nice farm at it nonetheless.
The sound plays a big role.
It really does.
It's just not really the same when you echo the ancient.
It's kind of an interesting thing that we've been seeing, though, because you can't really contest this if you're the other team, because if you get in the middle of this, it's just going to add to the echo.
Yeah.
But all you can really do is try to steal the farm beforehand, which they did quite nicely. Amar, though, the recipient of this gank from Tidebound, that is an easy kill for Faith Beyond. They even find a lowly Snake King, gets glimpsed out of the TP. Double kill for Bach.
Yeah, this is...
He's owning.
Not that there was anything spectacular about that from Y, but I just want to give him a mention here. I think this is his best hero of all time, and even in patches and metas where this hero is not particularly favored, it's a bit of a mixed bag in this tournament. Some teams like this, some teams don't touch it at all. But if Disruptor is playable, Y is going to play it. Tidebound have found massive success off of this, and look at him making his next move immediately.
Static Storm right on top of him. Absolutely no response available for Crit. Still only level 5 at the 12.5 minute mark. 8-2 advantage for Tidebound, despite the gold lead basically being even at the moment. And I can't really look at the XP, but obviously that Wisdom Shrine steal from Falcons was a huge deal.
The thing that's pretty impressive about this is that now Y has been in 7 out of 8 kills, and as you mentioned, they did not get the Wisdom. So he was level 3 at minute 7, and he has still managed to accomplish this much. So a job well done. But the side of Falcons, though, things are still completely stable. All 3 of your cores are having at least moderately good games, so they can keep progressing toward their key items. Seeing Amar here with his Mars approach, he is going for the 2 Bracer Soul Rings, same as pretty much everyone else. But he's going Blink. You and I have cast some Marses of, for example, XXS, who bypassed Blink entirely until like 3rd or 4th item. Not the case here. Amar wants to play more aggressive and set up his teammates for success. And it might overlap quite nicely with Malreen's Ags, which is about 1,000 away now. So those 2 items would be a strong timing for the side of Falcons, combining that with Crit's soon to be level 6. Big level up.
Indeed. Well, Nothing to Say just got his Blink Dagger. We'll see if they get a smoke gank ready to go to reveal that bad boy. Has the Echo Slam up. Still only level 1 though, but can still get a nice kill with the +1. And will probably just push this wave and then they'll smoke shortly after, unless they want to continue to just play the slow game. Looks like the Wisdom Shrines will go for each side this time around, and there's the connection with the smoke. Even Shiro coming to play with his Wild Wing.
Yeah, this is an interesting time to smoke. The Wisdom's coming up in 1 second. You're kind of in the middle of the map, so you're not covering them at all, but perhaps that makes this less predictable for the side of Falcons. Malreen will actually break one of them.
Yeah.
They don't know where he is, though.
Now that's a very nice spot for Malreen.
Yeah,
that is a big
placement. Deal. They will now try to perhaps invade, but if you're going to invade for the Wisdom now, you're running through the lane through full vision, so not going to be the case.
Yeah, they spot Nothing to Say. Now they jump on top of them instead. This is the follow-up, though. Snakey coming with a nice Nether Blast. They've already taken out Planet. Nothing to Say. Trickling away. The Mortimer's Kisses just hits them in the end. 2 kills for Falcons. Not only thwarting the initial smoke attempt from Tidebound, but absolutely crushing them afterwards.
Yeah, that's just beautiful map
That's
play.
the blink reveal.
Yeah, it's just an outplay, right? You break the smoke. Malreen seemed aware that the move might be coming, so he took a good position. And as he breaks the smoke, they make their own move, and they get the blink reveal play. That's, you know, the Shaker was looking for this one. So, a nice move for Falcons. No real objective to claim just yet. We're 15 minutes in, but they keep ramping up.
Yeah, Lamar, he wants some revenge. They get the glimpse back into the Static Storm. He's pretty tanky. Doesn't look like reinforcements are coming, though. So will be a kill going the way of Tidebound. And for Shiro, that's 700 away from finishing the BKB. Which for Falcons, it's essentially Roar is the main counter to the BKB Marcy at the moment. Which, like you said, his Malorine's Ag's about to come now.
There's a bit of cause for concern here. So Timber was just top net worth, and now they're tied for first. This hero is 0-7 this tournament. So if you're doing well, you're just going to give more gold over to the enemy team when your hero inevitably has to lose. So got to be really careful with that.
What do you think the reasoning with that win rate is?
It's a good question. I don't personally think the hero is particularly bad. So it's not the biggest sample size, 7 games, but still,
well, it's not the hero's fault. It's the player's fault. Then,
well,
surely.
we cast Bach playing this against Extreme Gaming. That game it didn't work out, but I don't know. I feel like we're going to see this hero a couple more times here on the big stage, and it's going to grab a win or two. The conditions in this game, in my opinion, are pretty good. He did pick it late and has some solid info. Went for the Kaya Sanj and now eyeing up BKB. Started with a casual Ring of Health that he's not converting into anything. A lot of the times you'll see this item used.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's quite rare nowadays, as a matter of fact, to just buy a value ring. But wanted it for the laning.
Now you could turn it into a Crimson later if you really want to, and against the Gyrocopter, not too bad, but maybe not the most traditional item for a Timber Saw.
Yeah, the more traditional one would be Lotus. Playing against Roar, it's kind of nice.
Smoke revealed. Shiro leading the charge as Crit gets to the high ground, and he's going to get glimpsed back into the arms of Bach and just gets deleted. The Roar counteraction from Malrine. Do they have the damage to cut through Shiro? He pops the BKB and dies instantly. First BKB of the game for him. Amar, though, stuck all alone. He's going to get bursted by Bach as it looks like Tidebound now on the retreat. The buyback came out from Crit in the meantime. So this is now a 4 versus 3 situation. That's a lot of damage from the Chakram from Bach, and he takes out Snake King easily. Now Malrine on the run. This is such a back and forth affair. Gets slowed to a crawl. Nothing to say with the Enchant Totem. As Bach, again, up front and personal. The cookie's not going to hit, but the last proc from Planet is enough to kill off Malrine. So despite losing their carry pretty much instantly, Tidebound able to bounce back quite a bit.
Honestly, that kill on the Pugna was just a beautiful sequencing of skills from Tidebound in that. And yeah, this was in spite of Shiro barely getting to play his hero in that fight. It was a really nice shot call from Malrine to go for the Roar and the burst on there. They had just enough. If they have 10% less damage, Shiro starts getting off multiple volleys of attacks, but not the case. In spite of that, Tidebound definitely coming out ahead regardless. And you're seeing in these engagements so far, Bach is making a good case for Timbersaw. Massive teamfight impact, and if his offlaner archetype hero doesn't do a lot of damage and you kill the Marcy, you win the fight there.
Yeah.
If he has a traditional offlane control hero like his Centaur that we've seen a lot of. So perhaps part of the rationale here for running this particular hero with Marcy is just that there's a second carry problem. Timbersaw, perhaps one of the... Would you agree it's actually the most carrying offlaner in terms of archetype? Like, I think sometimes Timbersaw carries games in there. There's not many offlane heroes that carry.
Yeah, it's definitely up there.
That's why Amar used to love it himself. Won many a game on that hero.
Yep, very true. That's the reason our team got second at TI way back when, losing to Faith Beyond, of course. Still bitter about that.
Yeah, he's actually picking this because you're casting to remind you of Moo.
Yeah, those were some classic games. Only a 1K lead for Tidebound. I mean, I don't know about you. I was expecting this to be a very close series, and it's been entertaining thus far.
Yeah, we both agreed the most likely outcome was a 2-1, so I'm sure a lot of people out there share that sentiment, and at this point, 20 minutes in, don't really have any strong favorite for this one, so still keeping it close, and knowing Falcons, they're just getting warmed up. Another 60 minutes to go in this one.
Yep.
I was laughing so much backstage in the green room when I saw they had top 6 longest games of this TI. It's like unbelievable that
all
the
of
same
them over
team,
an hour.
Yeah, they were like all 70 plus.
All right, we have smokes on both sides because Tormentor has woken up.
That's right. They're in.
But it looks like this will be Falcons to take. Question is, can they withstand a fight afterwards? Amar gets the shard, and you can see Tidebound still continuing on. The heals are coming. Planet's going to show himself first with a dead shot. Can Falcons retreat, or do they actually want to fight? Amar gets off the rebuke. Instant pierce the veil, though, into the Mortimers. That's an easy kill for Snake King. There's Amar's arena onto 2. Shiro the BKB. Looks like they might want to retreat, though, as the Disruptor's picked off. So Falcons holding that high ground is now the roar on top of Shiro. This would be an enormous kill for Amar and company. Beautiful spear into the trees. They got the stun lock. They got the kill on Shiro. 3 dead as Bach tried to save his carry. Now he has to retreat in shame. Has to Nightfall away with the BKB TP. So 3 dead. They lose the shard as well. Falcons coming out way on top.
Honestly, I'm a bit surprised that Tidebound went for that. They might have felt like, okay, they just took the Tormentor, they're going to be low, but you had no vision and no control of the area, and the enemy team is beautifully set up on Falcons there. Having the Pugna to heal up heroes after you take the Tormentor, including the Tormentor heal itself.
Yeah, the fact that they waited for the Tormentor heal to actually go into effect.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it, probably right away is the
Exactly. They were just too late, and it's easy to criticize because you're like, okay, you were too late, just call it off. But you feel so invested that you've already run your entire lineup up there that you're really tempted to take the fight. But Falcons were set up so much better, and Mars is just a godly hero in that area when you have the vision.
Oh, look at this. Tidebound. They're going to continue to get aggressive despite this BKB still being down for Shiro. Echo Slam right on top of the gyro. Gets feared back. Do they have the damage? It's going to be close, and finally Shiro coming in to finish the job. All 5 members of Tidebound here to watch Skeeter die.
The best hero they can kill. Gyro was...
And this opens up the Roche.
Yeah, and Gyro was close to BKB, so this is such a nice snipe for them to get at this exact moment. The Roche is the icing on the cake, and the reason that they went for it to begin with is if they find a meaningful pick, they know they can turn it into this. So you lost the Tormentor, but you got the Roche and the carry kill. If there hadn't been a fight up top, I would say clear advantage Tidebound overall in this exchange, but of course they did lose quite a bit in the top left corner prior to this. Now Shiro with the Aegis.
Indeed.
The glimpse.
Snake King glimpse back and will die eventually.
Well, he's pretty tanky.
He will die eventually. Surely gets Cookie to the high ground. Now the roar on top of Faith Beyond with Amar. Nice zoning ult. They're going to get 2 kills on likelihood. Wise going to stay alive a little longer with the essence shift, but the rebuke at the last moment takes out the Timber. That's 3 dead now. These fights make no sense. One team gets an objective, easily wins the fight. Next team with no resources wins the next fight. This is just back and forth.
And Snake King is just deceptively tanky, right? He's got Solar Crest, he's got Essence Ring with Brawny, so that's 400 HP on his neutral item. The Wand and the Cloak. He managed... I don't know if that was a fully premeditated bait. You're going to see the replay here, but notice how tanky he is here when he gets pulled in. So, Essence Ring popped.
Y almost killed himself with the Nether.
Wait, he didn't... Oh, finally he used his Solar. Okay, so he used Solar when he was on 10%. That might have actually baited them to commit for that.
Yeah, that was nice.
Even a missed spear doesn't matter there for Amar. They're still contained in the area. And Tidebound unable to bring the additional cores to the fight.
Well, the good news for Tidebound is they still have that Aegis for another 3.5 minutes. Feels like every BKB charge for Shiro so far has been just... It hasn't had any effect on the fight. He's died pretty much instantly after. But having that second life should theoretically help the cause. But now they're on a 6k deficit.
Yeah, this is the first meaningful lead of the game, where starting to approach that one additional key item mark. Skitter has finished his BKB, which is a big one. And you're approaching Amar. He's actually queuing up Refresher next. He does not have all that much mana pool for this. He has to be careful with the usage. Obviously running 3 points in Bulwark. Wow. Usually you see Marses take 1 Bulwark and then stats specifically to enable themselves to go Refresher earlier.
I feel like this is the fastest Refresher that I've seen on Mars, if he continues. Yeah. 3rd item, basically.
It would be very early.
Like, we've seen Yules in the past from Amar, help set up his spear.
Yeah.
But indicates that they just want to brawl it out. As Nullifier now online for Shiro. So don't have to worry as much about the Decrepify.
This is a really important item that they've been lacking so far, and now being able to dispel the Solar Crest and Decrepify in one go is definitely big. But the problem that Tidebound has found themselves in a lot of fights is locking down the target so Shiro even gets to attack. And when he does get in there, he still needs to worry about the roar. So it's not that easy to set it up. And Falcons with, I would say, you know, classic Falcons fashion now. You're playing against Aegis. They're going to just be farming the map, pushing the lanes, trying to stall out the game. Probably knowing that, I guess that's an interesting question here is there a clear favorite if this does go the hour mark? I think that's a valid concern or consideration whenever Falcons enter the game.
Yeah, would you like to talk about tier 5 neutrals yet? We can do that.
Just that they have such a massively big subset of their games go the distance, so might as well start planning for it.
Yeah, who would you choose then?
I feel like it's kind of close, really. Disruptor Ags is a true wild card in the late game. That's a concern you have to deal with against the side of Tidebound. Planet, of course, can start scaling. His Muerta is currently going Atos into Ags, which is very standard on position 4. Once you get Octarine, as well as a full Gleipnir, this hero becomes a true late-game menace. Just all that low cooldown AoE control. Shaker is a late-game monster, so they definitely have some of their own, but of course, Falcon's side, you've got Gyro, you've got late-game Beastmaster, 2 arenas, Snapfire.
Yeah, we have seen that hero pop off.
Yeah.
Even without the right-click variation. Just that 25 talent with the globs. Crazy damage. Of course, that's 35 minutes away, so...
so much to look forward to.
That's right.
I mean, we both know we're going to get there.
Falcons sure can't end games. That's something we've learned at this tournament, no doubt about it.
So far, they've not been in a position to, so... In this one. In the tournament, can't speak for all games, but...
True. 30 seconds on Aegis. Shiro and company look like they want to make a move potentially.
They gank some boars. They kill one of them.
So looks like Lincoln's is going to be the next item for Shiro. He's been getting roared a little bit too often.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Does feel like a requirement this game.
And he's also chosen a vast serrated Shiv, so he does have a little more attack range. It's clear that the mindset he is in is, I'm struggling to stick on targets, so he'll do whatever he can to find the opportunity to do that. Neutral item plus Lincoln's will be a big help. What can they break Lincoln's with? Decrep, homing missile. That's it.
Well, there's going to be a Hurricane Pike for Skeeter.
It's pretty good, this game. A lot of the time when you buy Lincoln's for a specific target, there's still additional problems that could proc it, but here it's not that many. And keeping in mind, Snaking went for the pipe, so Aetherland's still some ways away for him. And Decrepify cast range, not the best without that. Trying for the smoke.
Yeah, why? Ooh,
oh, Amar with a miss.
Yeah. Thought somebody was there, not the case. We'll retreat now.
Yeah, now it gets awkward. When you've broken your smoke on your initiator, you might just call off the play.
And like you said, the Aghanim Scepter online for Planet, and this is a huge deal. This is, I don't know if you'd agree on this, this is a top 10 Ags for me, easily.
It is so good.
Crazy good. Being able to increase the width of the dead shot by a very, very high degree.
It's actually an interesting item on carry as well when you go for the other facet. Now he has Supernatural, or rather he has Dance.
Amar caught off guard, gets glimpsed back into the arms of Shiro, gets Decrepified though, it's going to save him a bit. That's a huge kill onto Shiro out of nowhere. Didn't bother with the BKB and suffers the consequences.
Uh-oh. That looked kind of promising.
To be fair, he's been dying in BKB every time, so he's like, what if I don't hit it this time?
Yeah,
well, same result it seems.
If he BKB nullifies there onto the Mars, I think perhaps this fight goes differently, but just wasn't expecting to getting caught off, and you have to BKB and get roared. You just have to. Because if Falcons are going to burn the roar on you during your BKB, they probably can't burst you 100 to 0 anymore. Gyro more or less a split damage carry rather than the focus fire single target. And you are freeing up the fight for your Timbersaw to carry it, right? Bach has big items to get in there and cause a lot of havoc with Ags now with BKB to protect it. But if you just die on the spot there, you're not allowing your teammates to shine in the fight.
As Malrine will be going for the refreshers, so lots of refreshers planned on the side of Falcons. Oh, looks like, yeah. Yeah, Looks like Amar is still going for the refresher first. I thought he might change his mind when he realized his mana
He switched to
capacity.
Aetherlands.
Oh, you're right. He does have an
Yeah, he
Aetherlands.
bought an in-between item.
Okay.
I feel like he is almost the only player in the world who buys this item on Mars. I could be wrong, but I just connect this item with him in particular, using it as an intermediary way of getting that mana that he needs for the refresher. He uses it for the extra cast range on Spear, of course, and the cast range on Arena should not be underestimated. It gives you some nice additional plays with Blink spearing into Arena being easier to pull off.
Oh, Planet forces the issue from Amar. He gets off his ult. It's going to force the BKB out of Shiro. There's the roar from the other side on Mallory. Do they have the damage this time to cut through Shiro? It's going to be close. He's really low, dies inside of his own rebound. Another death for the carry of Tidebound as Bach with that Aghanim Scepter. Boom, boom time. Gets off. Oh, the Yules actually activates because the BKB ended early, and now the Rocket Barrage upon him. Static Storm to try to save their offlaner. It is not happening for Tidebound. And now Y on the retreat. He's holding a gem. This would be a pretty big kill for Falcons. Looks like he will be able to walk away, but still Falcons super happy with being able to kill Shiro first again.
It really just seems to be the deciding factor of this game so far is, does Shiro get jumped and how do Tidebound respond? Their lineup doesn't have save, so whenever Shiro is caught, you can't just protect him. They haven't itemized defensively either. The Muerta having Atos Ags and the Disruptor going for Blink. There's no Solar Crest, there's no Glimmer Cape. Just no mitigation to be found anywhere for Shiro when he becomes the primary target. So it begs the question, are you approaching the fights correctly? Should you just full-on YOLO in with your Timbersaw first and try to draw attention to yourself so Marcy gets to play? As this has gone so far, I think this is the 4th or 5th fight in a row that Shiro just gets stunned up and more or less killed 100-0.
Yeah.
So,
and
Falcons
another
now with a commanding lead, 13k.
Absolutely.
Tormentor for Beast.
And that's the other thing. They've gotten 2 Tormentors, and the 50-50 on both has been favorable because Pugna has not gotten the shard yet. It's gone to Mars and now the Beastmaster.
Yeah.
So Falcons, again, going to be happy.
They just got 2 refreshers. Beast and Mars have leveled up massively. If Tidebound were struggling to deal with the first round of BKBs, well, you're going to have a second problem now. Even more pressure onto Shiro. If you don't manage to get his physical damage input in the fight, I just don't think Falcon's lineup dies.
Well, Roche number 2 is underway. We'll see if this ends up being a free one for Falcons.
Yep. Not going to roar this one, as it is. The first one went to Tidebound. And they'll probably put it on Malrine, I guess. Or, well, they both made an inventory slot. They were unsure, or maybe he was just freeing up the slot.
Yeah,
for the
I'm
gem.
sure they were having a very civilized discussion, and then Skeeter just takes it.
Skeeter
Understandable.
said, me carry, and took it.
Exactly.
He's almost got Daedalus now. He is starting to have a pretty strong inventory now at 33 minutes. Now, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but this one does not feel like a 70-minute game to me right now.
Yeah, there's the jinx. Remember this moment, everybody. 33 minutes in the game. Cinderin was quoted as saying that.
I mean, the fans want their money's worth in the audience. They want to be here all day. Go home at 2 a.m. Why? Hiding. Oh, if those axes were thrown the other... Oh, he's going to be spotted by the boars.
Yep,
he is so
Mallory
dead.
finds Y, and this is the gem. So he did hold on to it for a lot longer than I was expecting, but a nice pickup again for Falcons, getting pretty much everything they want on the map. Now, in terms of the Lincoln's timings for the side of Tidebound, because it does feel like the roar has just been the end of these fights, effectively. Nothing to say. I think he's finished, actually, so just needs to be delivered, and Shiro just roughly halfway there.
Yeah, because he switched up for the Basher instead of the earlier Lincoln switch. Might have come back to bite him, honestly, like these fights with how they've gone. Now he can maybe hope for a good setup where Nothing to Say gets to put the Lincolns on the Marcy, and then if he has his own...
How much damage do you think Shiro has done to enemy heroes this game? Feels like he's just dying first every time.
A few thousand at most.
It's got to be one of the lower on the team.
Impressive. But yeah, speaking of that, I also haven't felt much Shaker impact. I just think Falcons have done such a good job at making it difficult for these 2 melee heroes to get in there up close and personal and actually land.
He's actually leading the team in hero damage. That's quite surprising.
That is surprising.
Barely.
That is concerning, I would say. If it feels like he's dying so fast, nobody is soaking up the space in the fights. They just can't.
And Falcons doing what Falcons do best. They're starving out the map. The problem is it feels like this tournament, this isn't working as effectively for whatever reason. Typically, you just methodically take the Roshan, you push the lanes in, you get all the tier 2s, then you wait for the next Roshan, then you finish the game. It was like that for a while, but the high ground has been quite difficult. We've seen many leads just evaporate with the first high ground push.
And Tidebound do have a spicy lineup to push into. Now that the Gleipnir is completed on planet, it makes it even harder. All of these low cooldown AoE stuns and displacement abilities are very powerful on your high ground, and of course, the Ags, where it's a dead shot, does both. It is both a fear and a reposition. You've got Shaker Fissures to worry about, Glimpse. If you ever overextend, you know you're being pulled back. So I think Falcons will take their time. Shocking. And just control the map.
Yep, they're definitely savoring this. 3K gold onto Skeeter.
They do have a banner ready on crit, and Skeeter is showing intent on going high. They're actually going in here.
Well, they do have Aegis for 2 minutes, so Roche banner placed. They want to, at the very least, poke. You can see Faith Beyond trying to aggro the crease, but the 2 siege units will still remain at the base. So this tower almost certainly going to fall. As Skeeter more than happy to throw away 1 life. Well, the fissure blocks them off, actually pretty good. But the Force Staff onto the other side, and now the barracks exposed for Falcons to take, and this is going to be the first range racks down in this series.
The thing is, this isn't a theoretically surprising play to go for this, because I think you're in a great spot to do it. We've just, like you said, if we go back 2 months, this would be the most obvious play.
Yeah.
That Falcons would do this. There's just been so many failed high ground attempts this tournament, and so much stalling.
Oh, nothing to say.
But they're in firm control, and this is just a matter of time.
Looks like they'll give up the full lane as the siege units will finish the job. So Falcons, successful in their first endeavor in the base of Tidebound.
And the only trade-off for Tidebound is that Marcy gets to free farm in the meantime. So they have made the judgment call that fighting into this Aegis without Lincolns is just too difficult. So they will sacrifice 1 lane now. The Lincolns for Marcy is only a few hundred away. Actually, I'm probably overstating that. About 1,000 away. And they have the one on Shaker. So with these 2 Lincolns, perhaps they can look for a fight finally. It's been a very long time since Tidebound has seemed interested in engagements. But that's also a really big part of the reason why Beastmaster's just been such a high-rated hero this tournament, right? He's being banned in so many games, first picked in the rest of them almost, it feels like.
Yeah.
Just a very, very powerful hero, can be flexed between mid and off lane, buys great items. Yeah, very strong. And Malrine, no different. Ironically, he is playing a micro hero, so you'd think he could buy Dominator if he can micro this one.
True.
It's easier to micro.
The Hawks you don't need to do much with these days.
That's true.
Though.
It's just the Boars.
Nothing to say. He's going to reveal himself, but we'll get the Blink TP.
Oh, he got the literal perfect neutral item, by the way. He got the
Dazoon.
The timeless Dazoon Bloodright. This has to be the best possible item you can get as Shaker in tier 4. Bigger AoE on everything, and the spell amp and the longer stuns will very much come in handy. And there it is. They're going to look for that exact play. Aegis expired, you have 2 Lincolns. But now, of course, with how long this took, Falcons have items of their own. Skitter has Satanic now, so he's a tough target. Amar has
He is completely isolated.
He does have... He can combine his Eon Disc right now on Amar, so... If he's the primary target, he can save himself. This is not easy for Tidebound.
Yeah, it looks like they just get a couple wards down and will have to wait in all likelihood for the next Roche, which they absolutely have to fight. And of course, their lineup is unbelievably scary in an isolated area like that, or in a contained area. You have all this AoE, not even included the Dazoon Bloodrights that you're bringing up, Timbersaw. You got the Echo Slam from the Earthshaker. You have the Calling is something you cannot ignore. And of course, Static Storm, we've seen it so many times turn the tides of fights.
And their arguably best AoE spell out of all of them, Deadshot.
Yeah, now that he has Ags, absolutely.
That one's available all the time. 10-second cooldown with the Gleipnir as well. Yeah, this is still, make no mistake, 17k is absolutely a big lead, but it is possible for Tidebound to find one singular good fight and swing the game almost on its head, or at least catch up fully. But so far, based on how well Falcons have navigated all of these fights and avoided disaster, it's hard to see them just fully blunder this until a Roche fight. They have so much control of the map, so good wards out. And of course the gems, like you covered, are in their favor.
So what's the next power spike for Tidebound? Because I think we both agree they're going to have to fight at this next Roche.
Shaker Refresher is a big deal, and he almost has it.
Okay.
On Nothing to Say. So I would say that is the best next spike they have. Muerto is eyeing up Blink, but didn't buy it. I think Planet might be saving for buyback instead.
Oh, Disruptor's only 4,200 gold away from Aghanim Scepter, so...
Just an Ags away.
That's right. Very ambitious for Y, but of course he's seen a lot of these games go late, so can't really blame him. And
now, unfortunately, he didn't get greedy. I'm assuming he was offered greedy when he took Timeless Outworld Staff. Because this is indeed the type of game where Disruptor might be one of the single best supports in Dota to take greedy on, because you almost never attack anything. Even when you're farming, it's oftentimes you just throw a Thunder Strike on the wave and back off because you want to be hidden and be a threat on the map with Glimpse.
No, Nothing to Say is going to show. Malrine and company would love to get a pick off before this Roche spawns. Still has not come up yet, though.
Another attempt. Glimpse on a mark.
Out. Will not be KB away. Smoke. Oh, there's the Echo Slam. There's the opening under the gyrocopter to be able to blow up Skeeter. He's dead. Just like that, as Malrine gets off another roar, but now this is in full retreat mode. They do have buyback on the gyrocopter if they want to use it. Fisher's going to connect onto the Pugna. Snaking, tankier than he looks, of course. Bach, his Aghanim Scepter does proc his crit with the Mortimer Skins. There's the Mars Arena from Amar himself. Lots of damage onto Shiro with the double spear to follow. Shiro's dead. Bach follows suit. No buybacks needed from the side of Falcons as they somehow turn this.
Even though Skeeter dies first, they have to commit so much for that, and Amar finds a beautiful angle. That spear was...
Oh, the cancel of the TP. Y does get off another glimpse, but we can see the TP from Malrine. He wants a piece of this, and he'll get it. Denies a bounty rune, though. Good job to Y.
Yeah, gets tipped for that. Nice heads-up play. Yeah, that was the timing for Tidebound, right? And they kind of lost that. At least it was like
it looked good at first.
A draw at best. And it is, of course, it is a limitation of their lineup that in order to burst and commit on this gyro, since he is as tanky as he is with 4,300 health, you have to pop a lot of stuff. They used multiple BKBs, they used Refresher on Shaker, Marcy used the majority of her ult. And when that BKB on Marcy runs out, she kind of seems to be getting kited a lot in this game. So might have to itemize to solve that problem. Currently thinking about Abyssal, that would help keep people in place.
This opens up Roche number 3 for Falcons.
Okay, if they really want this speed, then yeah, don't blame them. They kind of need it. They have the outpost. Okay, if the outpost was not under Falcons' control, this could have got really interesting.
Skeeter trying to rush himself into the pit because he really wants that Aegis.
They'll get it.
They'll leave it for him. It takes a while to find it with all those items dropping to the ground, but Roche has been vanquished. 5 minutes of that Aegis now. And next up on the list for Falcons, a second lane and potentially the game if they win this next fight. But Tidebound, again, have to say it. If they don't get picked off beforehand, this high ground defense is pretty scary to look at.
Yeah. They will have a banner again, though. This could be a big help.
They're not going to waste any time. Falcons right away.
Yep.
Wave getting cleared, though, so no Roche banner placed yet. Skeeter already in half HP. We'll get healed via the Pugna, so not going to use the Roche banner until now. This tower looks to be dead. There is a fortification online for Tidebound. Flak cannon. As Lamar jumps in very deep, gets off the arena. They're going to focus on the buildings for now, so maybe this is just... He's just going to die to the Mortimer, so Planet, no chance chance at all, as that's a second lane for Falcons. Glimpse back, Malraine's gonna get Echo Slam with the Fissure to follow. He's gonna get E-bladed though, nothing to say. Does get the kill with the last Fissure. There's the buyback though as Skeeter disposed back into the Static Storm. Pops the BKB, healing up thanks to the Pugna and a little bit from the Satanic as well. And you can see Shiro left all alone. He's roared and killed. 90 seconds of no mercy as a cheese eaten up by Skeeter, and they're going to go for full megas, if not just the throne outright.
They didn't even get his Aegis there. They kill the Beastmaster, he has buyback. There's just so many lives to get through.
Yeah.
You have to commit so much to kill one core one time.
Now this Pugna pick has been pretty valuable. Deadshot can make things a little bit more annoying. As Skeeter, all he wants to do is get to that top side of the map, but they keep blocking him. All of these obstacles, as there's the roar from Malreine right on top of Muerta. That is a death for Planet. No way to get back in the game. Second one reserved for Y. He buys back though. This is going to be potentially the last defense for Tidebound in this game number 1. But it's going to be 5 versus 3, not including the Aegis, which still has a full 3 minutes.
Yeah, Skeeter just seems invincible. 5k HP and 30 armor and a Pugna. The Pugna life drain has been such a big deal. Tidebound would have been able to defend and stall out for so long against the carry, but all of their damage just get nullified.
And that is Mega Creeps.
This is a fast game for Falcons, Shannon. 46 minutes?
I still believe this will go 60 minutes some way, somehow. Bach gonna get speared into his own tier 4. Lincoln's actually does proc thanks to that primal roar. And you can see the gyrocopter not too worse for wear because the Pugna's still on the back line, healing him up. Not much Tidebound can do here as the tier 4 is about to drop to the deck. Amar getting harassed a bit. Muerta back in 30 seconds right now. Still a 5 versus 4 in favor of Falcons. Throne completely exposed now as Shiro going in for one last ditch effort. They're just gonna block off. Pugna still in range though, and this life drain, they just can't do anything about it. Amar, Arena right on top of Bach. Now the magic damage coming from Skeeter with the right click as well. Bach is dead. Buys back instantly. There's roar number 1 for Marcy. Echo Slam a little bit too late as Shiro is already dead. And nothing to say, has to walk back in shame as a triple Arena from Amar as the GGs come out. Falcons take game number 1.